Good afternoon, everybody. This is Loretta Zita from HRAI. I'd like to invite or introduce, sorry, our two guest speakers, Karl Fernandes and Ron Vanhevel of Rheem. And just wanted to let everybody know that this event is going to be recorded and available for everyone after the presentation. If you have any questions during the session, I'd encourage you to use the Q&A section of our Zoom presentation. It's located at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to put in your questions, and I could either read them out to our presenters at the end, or I can allow you to talk so that you could ask your question. With that said, I'm going to pass it over to Karl, and he will take it away.
Thanks, Loretta. Welcome, everyone. We appreciate you taking the time to join Ron Vanhevel, our Technical Service Manager for Rheem Canada, and myself, Karl Fernandes, who is the Product Manager here in Canada for Rheem. Ron and I will be covering the Proterra Hybrid Electric Water Heater, the Proterra Hybrid Heat Pump Water Heater, and other heat pump technologies are really poised to gain traction in the Canadian market as consumer behavior changes. And if some of you were on the NRCan webinar prior to this, there is some substantial rebates being offered for all types of heat pump technologies. I'll just go over the agenda. We're going to cover an overview, which is an explanation of the product, the Proterra Advantage for Rheem, heat components and features, model lineup and specs, and messaging to the target audience that we would like to adopt this technology. The competitive advantage, leaksense and leakguard, user interface, how to connect via Rheem EcoNet, and physical installation.
Introducing the all-new Rheem Proterra Hybrid Electric Water Heater. For homeowners, it offers savings today and savings tomorrow. Plus, the hybrid is CTA 2045 demand response ready, offering additional savings through electric utilities. And it doesn't just save money, it saves energy too. In fact, the new Rheem Proterra Hybrid Electric Water Heater is the most efficient water heater in North America. The hybrid is so efficient because of the way it works. It draws heat from the air around it, or from the air outside with the optional duct adapters. Then a compressor transfers that heat to the water using very little energy overall. On days when more hot water is needed, the hybrid works like a regular electric water heater. The all-new Rheem Proterra Hybrid. It offers savings today and savings tomorrow.
The overview. Introducing the Proterra Hybrid Water Heater. Rheem is proud to continue paving the way for heat pump hybrid water heater technology by introducing Rheem's most efficient, advanced, and widest lines of solutions available. Smart, sustainable savings. Like other smart products, you can optimize the Rheem Proterra Hybrid right from your smartphone. It will also alert you to important information with the simple goal of keeping the hot water flowing in your home. LeakGuard auto water shutoff valve protects your home from water damage with this all-inclusive leak prevention system that limits leaks to no more than 20 ounces of water. LeakSense water leak detection. Be informed of a problem before there's no hot water with built-in leak detection that detects any leak, large or small, internal or external, in as little as 15 seconds. Integrated Wi-Fi technology gives you complete control of your water heater, from adjusting water temperature and tracking energy usage to setting vacation mode, all from your smartphone. Remote control allows adjustment of the unit mode, such as turning on high demand mode for periods of increased hot water usage. Adjust water temperature to balance your family's hot water needs via the EcoNet smartphone app. Plus compressor and element health indicator, so that you know the health of your compressor, so you can proactively schedule a service call and avoid being without hot water, and know if an element is failing so you can proactively replace it before it becomes a problem. Hot water availability indicator is to ensure that there's enough hot water before jumping into the shower and being without hot water and ending up with a cold water shower. The Proterra hybrid uses heat extracted from the air to heat water, so there's no need to choose between sustainability goals and enjoying hot water. It's the most efficient water heater available, which leads to a reduced carbon footprint, minimizing your impact on the environment. Highest efficiency. It is one of the most efficient water heaters on the market today. Has a carbon footprint reduction capability of up to 75% in energy usage in comparison to a standard Rheem water heater, and a carbon footprint reduction will be discussed in more detail in the presentation as we go through. Energy usage tracking, which is a key component, will give you weekly, monthly, and yearly energy usage reports from your Apple or Android smartphone to help you better manage energy consumption and, what is most critical to most homeowners, cost. And of course, it's Energy Star rated. How is CO2 generated by electric production? How is electricity actually made? Most electricity comes from power stations where hydrocarbon fuel, gas and oil, are burned to produce heat and steam to drive generators, and carbon dioxide is a natural product of the combustion of hydrocarbons. A healthy tree stores approximately 13 pounds of carbon annually, and to calculate the number of trees needed to offset carbon production is standard electric total carbon emissions is 3,486 minus Proterra's 50 US gallon carbon emissions of 846 divided by the CO2 stored from trees, 13, equaling a total of 2,640 pounds of carbon annually, or the equivalent of 202 trees. The high efficiency leads to energy cost savings, and the Rheem Proterra is unmatched, which leads to a payback on your investment in under 2 years, on average based on usage, and it also includes other capabilities that can save even more money to the consumer. Save money and energy. With the Canadian federal carbon tax impacting homeowners, the Proterra hybrid electric water heater is becoming more viable to reduce house energy costs monthly. Energy savings scheduling is available for time of use, and schedule your water heater around your time of use rate plan to avoid higher energy costs during peak periods. And in some regions, this cost can be double the standard rate. Program your water heater to match your needs throughout the day is available, and higher production during high use times like the morning, and lower production for energy savings when no one is home. There's built-in demand response scheduling, and homeowners can save over the life of the heater with peak and off-peak energy rate scheduling with built-in demand response. There's also a setting for vacation or away mode, which saves on energy and water heating costs while you're away for a week or just for the day. And it's easy to set up from your phone if you already left home. Now I will cover key components and features. Rheem is now offering a 40-gallon option, which is 30 imperial gallon hybrid electric water heater, which is all new for us, and is a perfect replacement for an existing standard tank. And zero clearance requirements are required for installation in tight spaces, which is an advantage. So with this new generation, we have redesigned the display so that it's easier to use controls for easy adjustment. And we've also added an all-new test mode for easier diagnostics. So if anyone is familiar, CTA 2045 connector is prevalent in the US more and more. And we are poised to allow utility companies to access and control the water heater during peak usage times here in Canada. The water heater has integrated leak detection, which provides 360 degrees of leak detection and detects any water leak, large or small, internal or external, for 360 degrees of protection. The Proterra has an integrated water heater shutoff valve available on the leakguard models and protects your home from water damage. Next, I'll cover the model lineup and specs. So for us, it's new, the 40, 50, 65, 80 US gallon capacities, and remote access, which is integrated Wi-Fi built into the unit, and the widest range of ambient temp performance, and up to 4 uniform energy factor with a very quiet, less than 50 decimal level, and automatic maintenance alerts, leak detection, and shutoff valve ready. In addition to the base models, the Prestige with leakguard on the right has auto water shutoff valve, integrated 360 water leak detection, which is leaksense. The Proterra base model can be upgraded to include the leakguard and leaksense. However, with the addition of the kit, the sensor does not wrap around the tank 360. The Rheem Professional Prestige 40, 65, and 80 can be ordered with or without leakguard and leaksense, in summary. New Proterra 40 US gallon capacity available, which has similar ratings to the previous 50 gallon, UEF ratings from 3.75 to 4.0, and now 4,500 watt elements instead of the 5,000 watt element. And recovery calculation, gallons per hour, is based on 90 Fahrenheit temperature rise in energy saving mode. And these units can be ordered in 15 amp models, which utilize a 2250 watt element. I will cover messaging, which is Rheem's way of gaining acceptance of heat pump technology in heating water by contractors and homeowners. This slide focuses on the contractor, which is water heater alerts help homeowners know when to call a contractor, turning potential emergencies into proactive service calls. It's the most efficient water heater on the market with a UEF, which I've covered of 4.0. And as we've said earlier, it can pay for itself in 2 years based on usage rates. And it fits into tight spaces with no clearance requirements to side and back, as well as all service components on the front. Homeowners receive important information through alerts and notifications that can protect your home from potential water damage. The Rheem Proterra hybrid uses heat extracted from the air to heat water. So there's no need to choose between sustainability goals and enjoying hot water. And this reduces carbon footprint, minimizing your impact on the environment, and demands response scheduling helps homeowners save money over the life of the heater. No additional cost connection to the grid. Non-demand response ready units require an additional module for the unit to be connected to the grid. Thank you. I will now hand off to Ron Vanhevel. And as a reminder, he will be covering leaksense and leakguard, user interface, how to connect to EcoNet, and physical installation. So I'll stop sharing now, and he's going to pick up the presentation from there.
Ron, I believe that you need to unmute.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
That's the thing of the 2021 and 2020, right? You're muted. Like I said, we're going to cover leak detection. Thank you, everyone. The leak detection cable is located behind the lower element cover. Once it's removed, there is a channel that the leak detection cable sits in that feeds it down to the absorbent wick around the base. So as you see here, you can see the wick that is located around the base. This wick here fits all the way around here, and it's fed down through there and joins with that to give you your 360-degree protection. If there's any leak anywhere around the unit, 360 degrees, you're going to get that protection. The absorbent ring at the base of the unit will absorb the water, which will trigger an audible alert from the unit, along with a flashing light from the unit. The end user will also receive an alert on their EcoNet connected device, smartphone, or tablet. The shutoff valve located here will close a supply valve to the unit, which will create a vacuum in the heater, causing no more water to leak out as long as there are no fixtures opened. So now let's look at the local startup sequence of this unit. Here you see the location of the information on the interface. As you can see here, you have vacation. You have the fault indicator, current set point in the middle of the screen. We then have your mode toggle on the right-hand side. Scald warning, which will be shown anytime the water is 120 degrees or greater. We then have your next screen, so we can go through the screens as you're going through the system. We have a text display to give you if there's information that you require. Then to enter any modes, we're going to push the enter mode. We have your Wi-Fi setup indicator. We can then clear the alarms. We have the enable or disable the heater. It will come disabled when you receive the heater. We have your up and down arrows to change the temperature. We all can see the current alarms, alarm history, and we can scroll. So we're able to scroll up and down arrows to see what the alarms may be if there is any. So now we're going to look at enabling and disabeling. So to enable the heater, we're just going to push the button twice. To disable, we're going to push it again. So as we said, the unit will be disabled upon initial startup. So now let's look at the modes of operation. So you're going to press the mode button to select operating modes. So modes of operation are your energy saver mode. This mode optimizes heat pump and electric heat for lower power consumption and high recovery. This is the default setting. We then have high demand. High demand, the unit operates heat pump and electric heat simultaneously if required. We then have your heat pump. The unit will heat only using the heat pump if within the temperatures required, which we'll cover later on. We then also have vacation mode. This setting will hold the tank temperature at approximately 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And then finally, you have the electric mode. Unit will only heat using the electric heating elements. So basically the same as a standard unit. And as you see, it will display what mode the tank is in. So on this one, as you can see here across the bottom, it says it is in electric mode. So it'll tell you what mode of operation the unit is in the text box. So now let's look at adjusting the temperature. And it is as easy as pressing the up button to increase the temperature or pressing the down arrow to lower the temperature. So maximum temperature without override is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Maximum override temperature with override is 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And your minimum temperature is 110. Thing to remember is there is a scold warning that will be displayed on the system if it's over 120. So now let's look at more in depth of what the modes of operation are. So you got electric elements only, very low efficiency compared to the heat pump mode, but has fast recovery. You have high demand mode. The efficiency is still high because the unit is still using the heat pump, but it will also use the upper element for periods of high water usage. We also have energy saver, heat pump only. But now let's take a little closer look at the different modes of operation. So energy saver mode. Again, this is the default mode. The unit utilizes the heat pump to heat the water. If most of the usable hot water is consumed and the demand continues, the elements will also be energized to help increase the recovery. Then we have heat pump. In heat pump mode, the heat pump delivers 1230 watts to the water. And this is at standard ambient conditions. It will bring on either element to heat the water when cold ambient air or cold water conditions are not favorable for the heat pump operations. Operating temperatures are between 37 degrees Fahrenheit and 145 degrees Fahrenheit in this mode. We also have then your high demand mode. The unit uses both the upper element and the heat pump to heat the water at the exact same time. We then have your electric. And as we talked previously, in electric mode only, the unit operates like a standard electric heater. This setting can be set from 1 to 7 days and will return the unit to previous, more efficient mode after the set number of days is complete. Because we want to operate in heat mode, pump mode for most efficiency. We also then have your vacation. And like we talked previously, the tank temperature will be maintained at 65 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 to 28 days. Or you can hold it indefinitely when the hold feature is used with the unit. So next, let's look at the settings. So when the scroll icon is displayed in the bottom left corner, as you see here, the current menu settings can be adjusted using the up and down buttons. So push next. So first thing you see, alarm beep. Do you want alarm beep or no? We can then do your temperature, and we're going to change it. Either you want it in Fahrenheit or centigrade. We can look at your current alarms. We can look at your alarm history. And again, notice across the bottom in the text box, it tells you what you're actually looking at, so you not have to try to figure out what the information is. We can clear the history. If you've done a service call and you want to clear the history, start over. You can see what the MAC address is, what your network instance is, and also shutoff valve installed, yes or no. So you know if there's a shutoff valve installed. Now let's see what items can be viewed in test mode. By pressing the next and mode buttons simultaneously, you can get into test mode. Yes, TST is for test, not thermostat. So next we're going to press the up button to cycle through the components. So here you have the compressor. You can press enter button to test select the components as the compressor. So you can show here, we'll press it. We're looking at the amp draw. And it shows me I'm in heat pump mode, so the compressor's running. I can check the discharge temperature, suction temperature, evap temperature, ambient temperature, and the amp draw. But I don't stop there. We can also look at your upper element, find out what the temperature is at the upper element, what the amp draw is the top element is. We can look at the lower element, check the temperature there, check the amp draw. We can go on and check the evaporator fan. Is it on? And what is the amp draw of that evap fan? And finally, what we're going to do is we can look at the shutoff valve. Is the shutoff valve open? We'll say yes or no. Shutoff valve closed. And it'll say SOC, shutoff valve closed. And we'll display yes or no. So it tells you a lot of information here. And we haven't used any tools to get any of this information. We're using it all from the display of the heater. So now let's look at the EcoNet and how to connect it. So first, you're going to press and hold the Wi-Fi button for 5 seconds to put the heater into pairing mode. So as you noticed, during this time, the blue indicator light will flash. Once complete the Wi-Fi setup on the mobile device and connect it, the Wi-Fi light will turn solid, as you see here. So now let's look at provisioning. First, you're going to do is download the EcoNet app and create a profile. We're then going to add the product. We have to add location. We have to ensure the product is ready to connect. Then we're going to connect to the EcoNet network broadcasted by the product. Then we tap available networks to find the home network. We then connect to the home network. We wait for the product to establish connection. This may take some time, depending on the internet service. Internet is then connected. Will display upon successful connection. Once connected, product home screen will be displayed. So now let's look at what the phone app looks like and where information is located. First, you're going to see scheduling on the left-hand side. We then have your usage reports, product health, network settings, alerts and notifications, temperature adjustment. And this can be set as a slide or using arrows, whichever you prefer. We then in the center here have your current set point temperature, hot water availability. This is only available on certain models. So that's nice to have, right? Because you don't want to jump into that cold shower. Nothing worse, right? Got teenagers. Now we look at, what do we have left? We got mode of operation. So what mode are we in? As you see on the screen here, we're in heat pump mode. So you never have to guess, okay, am I running my heat pump? Is it running on electric? You can look at your phone, pick it up, and it's going to tell you what it is. Makes it handy. So now we're going to look at scheduling. The scheduling feature allows users to program the water heater to their desired temperature each day. And you can use up to 4 different time schedules or blocks. This scheduling features helps to conserve energy by reducing the set point of the water. Now also, what do we have? We got usage reports. And they are flexible views for usage reports. We heard from some customers that they may want an easy solution to comparing current usage data to data of previous periods. We have added the ability to do just that. This can be done by going to General Settings and review your usage graph view section. Select your preference between the 2 options. And you can have current view usage or current and history data view. All you have to do is click the information icon next to each option to see an example when reviewing consumption. And that's right down here, right on the bottom, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So when you have the app, you can look at that and it will tell you what your consumption is. So now let's look at product health. Product health will display the element health and compressor health. So with the elements, you're going to have green. Elements are all working, no problems. If you got a problem with one element, it's faulted if it's the upper one, then you're going to have fault code and it's going to go yellow. If there's an issue with both elements, it's now going to go red to tell you that both elements, there's an issue and you'll get a fault code. We also offer compressor health, and it's based on runtime of the compressor hours. The main reason is monitoring the compressor health. If issues occur, the air codes will help contractor help do diagnostics. So knowing what the fault codes are makes it easier for the contractor when working on the piece of equipment, not having to try to guess what the issue could be. So we provide fault codes to help assist with this. Now in network settings, it shows the following: MAC address, software version, server connection status, network ID, IP address, and signal or connection strength. So now we're in the alerts. These are all important, right? The alert screen allows the user to see the current alerts. Importantly though, can forward the alert directly to the contractor. And you're going to set this up when you set up your account by email. Because our goal has always been to make service requests easy and fast. Now, if a customer receives a critical alert or a service reminder, they click the forward to contractor button and the contractor receives the issue or what the alert is. And they receive full detailed alert as well as the stored contact information. So the contractor has all the information he or she needs to follow up on that service request. So now let's look at the Rheem hybrid electric heater and how it is installed. The hybrid electric heater installs very similar to a regular electric water heater. A drain pan is required on all units. We do recommend installing PEX or flexible water lines to be used for the 18 inches coming off the unit. And this is for both hot and cold water connections. Because there is a compressor in this unit, vibrations can travel. So also remember, the height to the inlet on the water heater is about 3 5/8 inches. So therefore, it should clear the top of a regular drain pan, and an oversized pan won't be needed. So now let's look at ducting. This is a typical installation of a Proterra with ducting. So as you can see here, you can go with 8 inch. We're going to go into the chart and show you a little bit more of it. And then I can reduce down and go 5 inch through the wall if I want to. And you can use flexible or rigid ducting. You're still going to secure it with screws to the unit. There is inlet adapters that you would require to install the ducting. Not everybody wants to duct to the outside, but if you do, it is capable of doing it. When we go through it, telling you how to install it all. As contractors, you know how to install the ductwork properly. So let's look a little bit more at the chart. So maximum duct lengths on this. If I run 8-inch rigid, I can go 340 feet. If I use 5-inch, well, it reduces down to 17 feet. Flexible, we all know there's a higher resistance in flexible piping, so the duct lengths are reduced. But with any ducting system, you have fittings that you have to install to connect the ducting to straight pipe. So these also have equivalent duct length losses. So we want to make sure that when the unit is installed, that you look at the different stuff. An 8-inch flexible elbow is the same as 5 feet of linear pipe. So it goes through the whole chart here. And if you get dampers, the equivalent of 25 feet. So you want to make sure you go through the manual and look at it when you're doing this. So now let's look at a couple installations without ductwork. So we have 3 options. Option 1, if the room is larger than 700 cubic feet, it's approximately 7 by 10 by 10, then no additional ventilation is required. Option 2, if we use a small closet, we are going to have to put a gap under the door. So we need approximately 18 square inches or approximately 3/4 of an inch clearance under that door. So the louvered doors, if you're going to use that, louvers must be at the height of the exhaust of the heater. So if you're doing a louver, these louvers must be at the height of the exhaust of the heater. There's no sense putting it down here. We want to have it. And the exhaust must be facing the door and be within 1 foot of the door. If the exhaust is facing other places in the room, then it's going to get recirculated. So we want to make sure that it's added there. And then finally, option number 3. Option number 3, if you have a room smaller than 700 cubic feet, it's going to require a full louvered door or 2 louvers located at the top and the bottom. So it doesn't matter if you want it installed with ducting, without ducting, the options are there. We already talked about this previously, the CTA module. This port basically enables you to customer appliances to connect to the communication system, right? Some areas may offer cheaper electricity if you're connected to this so they can control your system when the peak demands are high. So, but you know what? Karl and I and the whole Rheem family do appreciate you taking time to attend this presentation. We appreciate HRI allowing us to present today. Karl and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. So we'll stop the presentation right now and look to see if there's any questions that have not been answered throughout the presentation.
Okay, fabulous, Ron. Really appreciate your time on this. Actually, we do have some questions. There was one that was answered already, but I'm not too sure if everyone got a chance to hear the answer. Karl, do you want to take this one and maybe expand on it a bit?
Which question would?
Does this controller communicate with Wi-Fi stats like ecobee?
I responded to that. It is working directly with Alexa. It does work with a communicating cable with our thermostat, the EcoNet thermostat. And Ron is welcome to jump in and answer any of this. Directly with ecobee thermostat, I would say no. That is, no. I would follow the user's manual, the Rheem user manual and Rheem guide. That would be the most appropriate. We do have EcoNet Cloud. So I'll turn my video on here. So,
yeah, that's okay.
Because humans like to talk to humans one day, face to face. We're getting closer, hopefully.
So,
fingers. So yeah, go ahead, Ron.
So the short answer is, at this point, no, we do not connect to the ecobee.
But we do have a cloud team where we have a group in the US always looking at solutions, because everybody is moving towards more and more home automation, you could call it. They want to be able to control everything from their smartphone. So that's just the nature of our products. And you can see that pretty much through the industry on the water and air side more and more, which Rheem is in both areas, air and water.
I have
Yeah.
another question here. I'm not quite sure what it's referring to, but it says, what is the recovery time?
I'll let Ron take that one, but my answer would be that's dependent on your usage rate and also what the cold water temperature would be coming in, but I'll let Ron elaborate on that.
Okay, so that was in there, but yes, the recovery rate is 26 to 27 gallons per hour on that based on ambient temperature at 90 degrees.
Yes, and you can find the spec sheet also on rheem.ca for this product, which gives you the whole based on each model. And I can put a link in the chat, but everyone should know how to use the internet.
Not a problem, not a problem. If you wanted to afterwards, Karl or Ron, you can fire that information off and I can make sure that the group gets any links or other documentation. I have another question here from Rose. When you recommend the water heater, when you recommend the water heater to be ducted? When do you? I think it was meant to be said.
That's a great question. That's basically a preference of the individual. If in the summertime, ducting you're basically getting free cooling, right? So you're either getting free hot water or free cooling. So, and in the wintertime, you may not want to put that cold air back into your house. So you may want to duct the cold air to the outside. But again, it's preference on everybody's preference are a little different. Some people say, no, we'll just take the air from inside. I hope that answers the question.
Rose, if you wanted to elaborate, certainly can fire off another question. I'm going to go on to the next one. What's the coldest air inlet temperature the HP can handle in Canadian winters?
Okay. Yes, what's 37 degrees.
Okay. Okay, I have another one here. And then I have another one here. Are there any incidents when you may want to use only use one duct on the system?
Again, that would be depending on how the unit's installed. Like if you want to duct if the cold air. So if you want to duct it's into a specific room that maybe you got one room in your house that's not air conditioned and you want to duct it there, you can duct the cold air there. With the heat, with the hot, with bringing in air, you might think, okay, I'm not going to gain much in the winter, but I can, in the summertime, I can draw the hot air from outside. Like if the house, it's in a cool area. So you want to gain that extra by bringing in that hot, moist air from outside.
Okay, I have another one here. What is the tank made out of and how is it constructed?
We showed that in the video, but it's a standard tank type water heater, but we've added heat pump technology, and it's nothing we're not showing in the video.
Okay.
Using
Okay. How large is the tank? Are there commercial sized models that could be used in boiler rooms to take advantage of the waste heat?
At this time, we are not offering a commercial version just yet. We did have a product, but I think that application requires more capacity and performance and some of those things along those lines. And you can find the current size of the tank and different specifications on the link I put in the chat and also on rheem.ca under Proterra.
Okay, that's wonderful. Oh, sorry, go on, Ron.
Yeah, but with that, there's nothing saying that if you want to take the heat out of a room that you couldn't use a residential tank as cooling, because that's a great idea. Is why not use that extra heat in boiler rooms or in even restaurants and kitchens and stuff like that. If you got a specific area, doesn't mean you can't use this unit.
Okay,
that's true. Thanks, Ron.
Okay, and I've got one more question here. Actually two, but would there be a time when you would install T's in the two ducts to switch between venting from the house and outdoors?
Yes, you can install T's there depending on, again, where you want to direct your cold air or draw the warm air. So that is not a bad idea to install T's and put a damper system there to draw from outside or from in the basement. If it's too cold from outside, if you got to duct it, then you could redirect the air and draw that cool air out of your basement. So yes, definitely would not be a bad idea.
Okay. What is the standard warranty on the tank?
It's a 10-year limited tank and parts warranty, and see your residential warranty certificate for complete information.
Okay, and I think
And
Mark,
answer.
yeah, Mark, one of the attendees, I guess he was replying to one of his other questions. Okay, so it's a standard water heater with a lifetime expectancy of 10 years, which you were just talking about right now. Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions? Can you connect the duct system to central HVAC system?
No.
No, that's not a good idea.
It has to be standalone because the fan is not designed to overcome the static resistance of a duct
HVAC.
system. So no,
Okay.
you want to keep it separate.
Okay. These are all great questions, and I really appreciate everyone's time for attending this session. Ron or Karl, do you have any final words? And how can everyone get in touch with you?
Karl, do you want to, or do you want me to? Okay, I'm
Go
the
ahead,
technical
Ron.
service manager, but if you send on our Rheem website, we do have Rheem.ca website for looking at products. But if you want to reach out to myself,
Yes.
you can reach me at TechServeCan.
No problem. You know what?
I can give the email address also.
That's fine too, and I
Yeah.
can put it into our communications that we send out after the event. Karl, any final words? Or
I would just like to say thank you, Loretta, and to
Yeah.
RAI and to everyone who's attended today. It's very nice to see and really supporting this new technology. It's been around for a while. Those who have been in the industry know that heat pump water heaters have been around probably since the 70s, but now the technology and what we're bringing to the table from Rheem and Wi-Fi and leak detection and all those good things is just making it even more attractive to homeowners. And we have a robust sales force in Canada, and we have great partners that can also answer lots of questions and sales questions as well.
okay, great. We have 2 more questions in the Q&A. I was wondering, did you want to answer these, or we could take it offline and I can send them to both of you directly and we can answer them for each of the attendees?
I'll let Ron decide that one.
I'm good either way, whatever works for you.
Okay, I'll fire these 2 questions off.
Sounds good.
Sorry about this, everybody. Your product
yeah,
is mostly
fantastic.
useful. Your product is mostly useful for hot climates and can be used as free air conditioning. In cold climates, it should be paired with fireplaces and wood stoves, if not boiler rooms. I think he's making a comment, but did you want to comment on any of that?
Well, with electrification and everything going on and then the green initiatives, these heat pump water heaters, we have a lot of our hybrid electric water heaters in a lot of the net zero houses. So they have found that they work well with the initiative, with the government initiative for saving greenhouse gases and stuff. So yes, they would work well with those as well, but there's not really a place where I would say you couldn't put one. Again, it's all on your preference, what you would like to do.
I also, from previous webinars here that I've listened, and I think it was quite, there was a map of Canada put up, and how much time is spent in a temperature like a ambient temperature that is actually ideal. Surprisingly, it's not just places like Vancouver, Victoria, and in Toronto or Ottawa, but there's a lot of time spent where you can use this in heat pump mode very easily with the ambient temperature from outside in places like Montreal or in the middle of the country in Saskatoon. So that's just, I would say that it started out in places like Texas and down in the US where they will use it as supplemental in the attic or whatever as cooling. But I think this is very viable technology, and especially as electrification sweeps across Canada.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Ron and Karl, for your time. And we really do appreciate it. Just to let everybody know, we'll be sending out a recording of this session after. We'll also have a survey if you could fill out and send back, give us some feedback. And again, thank you so much for your time, Ron and Karl. And I thank everybody for attending today. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. Bye-bye.